Hi, how are you doing? I am Charmy Ann and I was assigned to make a report about the basis of local governance as a requirement for our assignment PS313, Local Government in the Philippines. So what will we expect to learn in my PowerPoint? First is to know what local governance is. Second, what is its basis? Third, how is it going to work? And how it evolves from time to time. But before we get right into it, let's first know the meaning of the important terms that I will use in my presentation so that we'll have an idea. Getting necessary definitions. First, government. Government is the name given to the entity exercising that authority of which people acknowledges its authority. Of course, there's a lot more definitions on the internet, and others may prefer other meanings. But for me, I chose the simplest and the most exact one for me. But the main point there is the government is that entity that rules the state. Next, authority. Authority can most simply be defined as the legitimate power. So whoever has authority has the power to rule, whereas power is the ability to influence the behavior of others. So, for example, maybe we know Lord of the Rings. So, Lord of the Rings, whoever bears the ring or whoever wears the ring is under Sauron's power. Sauron, therefore, has the ability to influence the behavior of the wearer. But Sauron does not have the right to rule. He does not have the authority. That is why the troops are fighting against him. It's a little bit far off, but you get the point. Therefore, authority is the right to influence. And when combining the three, government, authority, and power, comes politics. Politics is an art of government, the exercise of control within the society through making and enforcement of collection of decisions. So with all of that cleared up, let's find out one more word term that is a little bit confusing. Governance. Governance is not an entity. We cannot touch it. We can only see it. We can only see it if we look closely, but if we look too closely, we'll get to focus on something else that we don't want to focus on. That is why it's a little bit baffling, hence the title. There are many ideas about what governance is, that the internet is filled with different definitions, and I can't make up my mind which one is the best. So I gathered up a lot for you so that you can waste your time and yet confuse yourselves, just like me. Just kidding. So governance is the tradition and institution by which authority in a country is exercised by government. So as we know, institution with authority is the government. But for Kufman, not only the government uses governance, it also needs traditions of the nation. Next one is the World Bank or PRSP handbook. It says governance is the way power is exercised through a country's economic, political, and social institution. With this definition, we can say that the inflation of materials in the market is also governance. No ID, no entry policy of the school is also governance. For me, it makes a lot of sense because power is everywhere, authority is everywhere, governance therefore is everywhere, especially or including the smallest unit of the community, which is the family. So the longest definition here is number three: the sound exercise of political, economic, and administrative authority to manage a country's resources for development. It involves the institutionalization of a system through which citizens, institution, or organization, groups in society articulate their interests, exercise their rights, and meditate their differences in pursuit of the collective good. So long story short, it shares the same meaning as number two, but it needs the common good. You see that? Okay. So governance baffling number two, as if that wasn't enough. Batch number two is here. Number four, shorter and straighter than my hair, promoting fairness, transparency, and accountability. That is what governance is according to World Bank. In fairness, that sounds like it's running for an election by itself. But it's true though. According to the local government code of ethics, which we will discuss later on, governance should be fair, governance should be transparent, and governance should be accountable. The question is it really? Anyways, going to number five for the win, which is the simplest one. The process of decision making and the process by which decisions are implemented. And sharing the same thoughts as number 5, fundamentally, is about power, relationships, and accountability. Who has influence, who decides, or who or how decision makers are held accountable. The best definition for me, though, is from McCartney. Governance refers to the interaction between civil society and government in determining governmental actions. Simple as that. And let me repeat that for you. Governance refers to the interaction between civil society and the government in determining governmental actions. Let me repeat that for you. Just kidding, but I kid you not. In most dictionaries, government and governance are interchangeably used, both denoting the exercise of authority in an organization, institution, or state. Governance can be used in several contexts, such as corporate governance, international governance, national governance, and local governance. And now, oh, finally, going to the real topic of my report, local governance. But let me test you first. What is governance for you? If governance, as we said, is a process of decision making and the process by which decisions are implemented, what is local governance? I see Mr. Gilligan raising a hand. Yes, Mr. Gilligan. Just kidding. I cannot hear you. This is pre-recorded. Anyways, I'm sure that my classmates know what local governance is. Local governance is the broader concept and is defined as the formulation of execution of collective action at the local level. So the LGU is doing, no Raymond, Hazel, and Nikki, people I miss so dearly. What they are doing as members of the LGU are included in local governance. And if you wonder where in the world does it say or does it state that a country shall have an LGU, where here it is at Local Government Code of 1991, section number 2. No worries, I searched for that online. It says here, quote, it is hereby declared the policy of the state that the territorial and political subdivisions of the state shall enjoy genuine and meaningful local autonomy to enable them to attain their fullest development as a self-reliant community and make them more effective partners in attainment national goals. Now you got to remember here that the last part it says development communities and make them more effective partners in the attainment for national goals. So there's one basis actually for local governments, the attainment of national goals. For example, the national goal is to establish healthcare facilities in rural areas. What will local government of the rural areas do? Okay, I see a raise of hands here. What will the local government do when the national wants to increase healthcare facilities? Miss Galviogo? Come on, guys, don't be shy. Okay, you can just chat it. Here from Miss Pipita. I don't know. Sorry, I forgot you're not married yet. It says here they have to decide when, where, and how the plan is to be taken. Yes, very well said. Thank you, Miss Pita. So with that example, we know that the LGU and the national government shall work together, of course. But what if the LGU does not show obedience to the national? And I've actually asked Sir about that, and he said there would be an administrative code. So it says here their function are stated in the Local Government Code of 1991. The need to abide and follow it. They will be liable, administrative case. So it's gonna be administrative case. The local government has no say if the national chooses to make action against them. Hence the framework of local governance. Administrative and centralization is based on two important pillars. First one is to restrict decision power to central authority. Oh, sir, I'm so sorry. I can't reply to you right now. Second one is the subordination of administrative staff to the central authority according to certain hierarchy. So let's break it down. Drop the beat. Restrict decision-making power to the central authority. The process of decentralization shall proceed from the national government to the local government units. That is what the LGC 1991 section 2 says. Now remember, guys and girls and in between, that we are using LGC as our sole reference here because it contains the world's secret treasures. Just kidding. By the virtue of powers and authority provided in the Local Government Code of 1991, local government formulates and defines the legal and regulatory framework of local governance. This serves as the basis of involvement and participation of various organizations and groups in the governance of the country. So let me read that in slow motion. By powers and authority provided in the Local Government Code of 1991, local government formulates regulatory framework. This serves as the basis for involvement and participation of the various organizations and groups in the governance of the community. Okay, fast forward to the future. Now it's 7:25 p.m. and I'm still speaking here. My back is a little bit painful. So let me stretch out a little bit. Where were we? Number 2, subordination of administrative staff to the central authority according to certain hierarchy. You know when you're going down the ladder and you miss the step and you get a little heart attack? Yeah, it's kind of like a ladder. The government is kind of like a ladder. It also has steps higher than the other. Our barangay is here, located 15 minutes away from my house. And it's actually below the municipal, which is 30 minutes away from my house. You have to take a pump boat. And above the municipal is the province of Aklan, which is 2 hours away from me. And everything has its place. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but barangay is placed under everything. That is the point of number 2. Hence, here is what the Local Government Code of 1991 says. Section 3. The national government shall ensure that decentralization contributes to the continuing improvement of the performance of local government units and quality of community life. Yes, since my dad's house is under the barangay is under the municipality, and the municipality is under the province of Aklan, so on and so forth. That means the province of Aklan has to take care of me. And you know who's taking care of the whole Philippines? The Article 1 of the LGC has answer for that. It says they're consistent with the basic policy on local autonomy. The president shall exercise general supervision over local government units to ensure that their acts are within the scope of their prescribed powers and functions. Decentralization. Administrative decentralization entails the distribution of administrative functions between the central government and the capital and between regional bodies and independent, competent facilities, assuming their responsibilities under the supervision and control of the central government. Excuse me. That's just basically what it says, you just have to read it again if you don't understand. It's quite self-explanatory. We're all smart. Now, here in the Philippines, who is the government accountable to? Ng Ella. Did you just say it's people? That's correct. Thank you so much. So, how will the government know our concerns? Hence the slide, local authority and public participation. Local citizens are most understanding of their needs and priorities. This obligates the local councils to constantly feel their priorities, problems, needs, and desires through, for example, public polls, town hall meetings, and citizen complaint box that allow citizens to voice their concerns in secrecy without revealing their identities. All those methods are ways to instill and practice the principle of public accountability. Yeah, plus methods today, such as the internet, konting Facebook lang, konting Twitter, para ipagawa ang reklamo ta. So go lang. Because sometimes, if it's a public problem, the government will take action, especially if it reached many reactions and if it has gone viral. Then certainly the government will take actions. But as Ma'am Nora said, be careful, guys. The internet should be used as a tool for the better, like a knife chopping the freshest pork and not the freshest neck. Okay. Status of LGUs. Each local body is governed by a local council directly elected by the citizens of the local community. The number of local council members are determined by the regulation enforced with issued issued by the Minister of Local Governance and approved by the Council of Ministers. Section 39, qualifications. An elective official must be where he intends to be elected. Very self-explanatory. Next one, status of the LGU. Number 2, the local government or the local council shall issue bylaws and decisions as it deems appropriate and can cooperate with other local councils in order to identify the optimal ways to best serve its citizens. Our local governments are working together. Simple as that. It's kind of like being classmates. I am working with Roselle always if I need help. If Romar needs help, he chats me. Most of the time, I chat him because I'm the one needing help. Anyways, that's also what local governance is. They help each other. At least I hope so. Okay, yeah, that's very self-explanatory. Moving on. There are 5 aspects to sustainable human development in local governance. First one is empowerment. The expansion of men and women's capabilities and choices, increasing to their ability to exercise their choices free of hunger, want, and deprivation. So basically, the government should therefore help us to grow up as a person that is developed fully in physical, mental, and social terms. Second one, cooperation. With a sense of belonging, important to personal fulfillment, well-being, and sense of purpose and meaning. Human development is concerned with ways in which people work together and interact. For example, here in Boracay, we work together in cleaning the beach, just after the Duterte has proclaimed the closure in 2018. We are working together, but I didn't really see the captain there. But my point, working together. Next, equity. Equity. Well, technically, equity has 2 definitions. The first one is to be prioritized financially. Second one is recognizing that each person has different circumstances and allocates the exact resources and opportunities needed to reach an equal outcome. While the other meaning, so it's kind of like, giving the same pair of shoes. Equality is giving the same pair of shoes to everyone, while equity is giving the shoes that fits the individuals. Well, it doesn't matter because equity here is actually the definition of financial opportunities. Yeah. The expansion of capabilities and opportunities means more than income. It also means equity, such as educational system to which everybody should have access to. Next, sustainability. Sustainability. The needs of this generation must be met without compromising the rights of the future generations to be free from poverty and deprivation and exercise their basic capabilities. So the question here, will my child experience poverty? Will he eat salt with rice? Will my child have fair education? Will I have a child? Will I ever be married? Do I want to be married? No. The point is, the next generation shall have a better future, not worse. So stop deforestation and free the turtles. Last but not the least, security. Security, something that divides when your money doubles. High walls cannot certify security. Guns are made for security, but ironically, it's used to break it up. Security of livelihood. People need to be free from threats such as disease or oppression, and from sudden harmful disruptions in their lives. And finally, 2 more slides left. Importance of governance. I'll let you read this one in your mind silently because you have to meditate on this one. Okay. Question to the end of the presentation. Next slide. Historical studies. Why should we study governance? Historical studies have argued that the past local governmental actions have decisive impacts on the way societies are organized themselves politically. Western European countries with historically strong centralized governmental institutions produce a class-based political culture. The highly fragmented and territorial-based governmental structure in the United States produce a political culture and composed principally of narrowly based interests. Local government or local governance is weird, it's icky, it's gooey, it's crazy, it's whimsy, it's charming. But it is beneficial to study because if we have the knowledge, we can use it to make things better. Just as Spider-Man's uncle once said, with knowledge, with great knowledge comes with great responsibility. Or is it with great power? And you get the point. Now, before I entertain questions, let me take this time to tell you this. I know nothing. I know that I know nothing. And I know that you know that I know nothing too.